Hello, and thank you for joining me today. My name is Catherine Townsend, and we are going to be discussing collaboration in higher education. Our first simulation will be an advisory committee to collaborate to revise a program curriculum. Let's get started. So the program that I selected to go before the advisory committee is a first-year composition course curriculum. The purpose of the committee is to review the efficacy of the current first-year composition course and make adjustments as necessary. A long-standing issue with first-year composition courses is the lack of opportunity the course provides for students to write within various genres. The idea of academic writing skills has been debunked, with research showing that students need practice in specific cross-curricular genres. In fact, Downes and Wardle unequivocally claim that writing is inseparable from content and is more than simply a set of grammatical and syntactical constructions. However, this diversity and direct instruction within varied genres of writing is not currently happening in first-year composition curriculum. Additionally, with the development of generative AI, first-year composition courses must address the elephant in the room and have a plan to continue effectively preparing college students to be strong writers in their various programs of study. We need to be aware of the power of AI, how it has already changed a lot of the academic landscape, and equip our students to use it appropriately in their courses. Additionally, we need to focus on the concept of transfer and how it applies to writing schools. To do this, the proposed committee can review the Elon statement on writing transfer and implement some of its recommendations, such as having students mindfully reflect and being intentional about the assignments that we are giving in class. My proposal for the committee members include current first-year composition instructors in both the on-campus and online modalities. It is definitely important to have both perspectives on the committee, since the course will look different based on whether you are taking it on campus or online. Current instructors will be able to identify current strengths and weaknesses of the program from their own observations. They will also have a strong understanding of the goals of a first-year composition course. All right, we don't want to completely change the goals of the course. We want to make sure we are aligning with and actually achieving those goals. Additionally, I would love to have a student services representative who may be able to provide valuable insight into students' needs, answer questions such as what courses are students needing extra support in, what classes are students dropping, and why. They can also serve as a voice for the most important stakeholders, who are the students. Next, I would love to have an English department chair. Since first-year composition is traditionally an English course, the department chair should be involved in the course design. The department chair would be well aware of the goals of the first-year composition course and be able to keep the advisory committee on track toward meeting those goals, while also being able to answer questions about what is possible and what isn't possible in the course redesign. Lastly, I would love to have an AI technology consultant, a tech consultant who can bridge the gap between the rapidly growing world of artificial intelligence and the classroom would greatly help in this planning process. They can help teachers consider how to incorporate AI and other new technologies into the course. MAC encourages institutions to support departments in curriculum mapping, specifically in ways that support long-term career success for students. This should be a top priority for the institution. And so these specific committee members, as representatives of said institution, would be the best options in leading this committee. All right, as the committee gathers, it's important to have effective collaboration strategies to make sure the committee actually reaches its goals. Establishing an effective plan of communication is a crucial aspect in successful collaboration. Kennedy states that it is important to leverage the diverse talents of the group, which is why we will immediately create a shared Google Drive to work from. We want everyone's input and contribution. Kennedy also emphasizes the importance of not wasting group members' time, so we will always ensure we have a planned agenda for each meeting. I also plan to plan out all of the meetings in advance, so you will have a complete schedule of all of the collaboration meetings in advance of them beginning in order to prepare and plan accordingly. Meetings will be held in a shared space on campus. In person is definitely the best way to work as a team. Technology is great and allows us to continue collaboration even if we aren't in the same space. However, ideally, in-person meeting is going to be the best and most productive form of collaboration. Lastly, meeting agendas will be emailed out to all committee members 24 hours prior to the meeting, so all members can prepare accordingly. We will make sure that we stick to this agenda and try our best not to divert from it in order to value and respect everyone's time. Additionally, we will operate meetings using established discussion protocols to avoid getting off track and ensuring that everyone is allowed to share. We'll also establish procedures for approving or denying suggested curriculum changes. For example, we can begin with something similar to a SWOT analysis of the current course. SWOT is typically done in a business setting. It stands for identifying and reflecting on a business's strengths, weaknesses, areas of opportunity, and threats. In this case, we would likely skip the threats part. We could simply reflect on the course as is and use the framework to help us identify current strengths of the course, current weaknesses of the course, and areas and opportunities for change and where we can make the curriculum stronger. Okay, now we are going to transition to the second part of the presentation, which is about collaborative problem solving as a team when there is a specific issue on campus. All right, the scenario that I selected is this. An adjunct faculty member has recently joined the program and is feeling disconnected and unsupported. Despite this person being highly qualified, the adjunct feels unsure about where to turn for guidance on curriculum-related issues, student concerns, or resources available for teaching improvement. The adjunct has not been introduced to the support systems in place for faculty and is unsure about the process for seeking help or professional development opportunities. I have agreed to actually be the new adjunct's mentor. So, when I look at this scenario, the clearest problem is the lack of communication and orientation for this new adjunct faculty. If this were to continue on, this could lead to decreased confidence for the instructor, limited engagement, and potentially the teacher becoming so burned out based on the lack of support and confusion around how to best be successful that they would leave. They would end up leaving the university. So my goal as the mentor is to build a structured, supportive mentorship plan to integrate the adjunct into the department community and to foster collaboration. Here are my goals for this collaboration plan. I want to identify and implement clear and consistent channels of communication for new adjunct faculty. Communication is generally the most important aspect about working with other people. And if there is not if there is not clear communication and means of communication established at the beginning, people can end up very frustrated. I also plan on developing an onboarding procedure to support new hires. This is not going to be the last adjunct professor that is hired at the university, so it would be well spent time to develop a specific onboarding procedure that all new hires can complete. I intend to create online connection and collaboration spaces for adjunct faculty. I'll talk more about that here shortly. And establish a mentorship program for new adjunct faculty. So the other people I would get to be involved in this collaboration would be the following stakeholders. Firstly, the department head. As the adjunct's likely superior, the department head's involvement is crucial to the conversation around supporting new adjunct faculty. Not only can they answer questions that I, as just another professor, might not be able to answer, having the department head's involvement sends a message to the adjunct that they are an important part of the team. Data shows that generally, adjunct professors do not feel connected. They feel like they have limited, unclear, or inconsistent access to material and information. They feel that they have inconsistent access to professional developments, administrative and technological support, office space, accommodations for meeting with students, etc. This is a failure in collaboration between full-time on-campus faculty and on adjunct. All right, it is deeply important that the rest of the department is involved in this collaboration space. The other stakeholder would be me, the mentor. As a fellow instructor, the mentor teacher will act as the primary support for the new instructor, providing guidance on curriculum, university culture, and teaching practices. Lastly, an additional campus administrator would be a great way for the adjunct to feel connected to the rest of the campus community outside of the department. This person could serve as a liaison to facilitate connections for the new instructor and help them learn about campus opportunities and supports. This program, this department, does not take place in a vacuum on a university. Students are involved in all other aspects of university life, so some sort of additional campus, potentially student services administrator or something of the like, would be an awesome person to have on this team. All right. My first plan for communication, as mentioned previously, would be to establish a Padlet, which would serve as a digital toolbox. The mentor teacher could create a digital toolbox to share with the adjunct that contains important resources and information. This would be a little bit more helpful than simply a shared drive. Not only could I share documents such as syllabi, standard operating procedures, and policies, but it could also be a place where I and eventually other instructors and mentors to post great instructional tools, assignment ideas, web-based tools that the instructor could go on to use and find helpful. Regular email check-ins. The mentor teacher can have regular communication with the rest of the stakeholders and compile emails with information and support for the mentee. Campus administrators should always prioritize equal communication amongst all types of faculty. And this is a way that the adjunct can feel connected to the rest of the department. Finally, I would love to design an online onboarding module. This could be an asynchronous onboarding program that could be created for the adjunct to complete. The program can cover basic information about the university, policies, faculty procedures, and more. This is how I would plan to schedule out the meetings in terms of cadence and topic. First, I would love to just have a meet and greet, simply a get to know you event. It's important to remember that we are all people with lives outside of school, kind of playing on this pedagogy of kindness, even with instructors. We need to see other teachers as full people and learn to value their lives outside of class. The first meeting would be an orientation to course expectations, technology, and resources. So it'd be an opportunity to introduce the Padlet toolbox and the online onboarding modules. We would then move to bi-weekly check-ins to address teaching challenges that pop up, solicit student feedback and review that together, and be an opportunity to continue to review curriculum questions and other just new to the school questions that might pop up.